Alright, you guys ready? Well, guys, I think it's time to start getting this thing back together.
Yup.
Whoa. All right, we're going to get the suspension together tonight. You can see there's a trailing arm on that side, loaded up with radius rods and the bushing for the sway bar. That's what it is. And there's one over here too. Got my shocks rebuilt. I'll show you some of the footage of doing that work and prepping those parts. Have a small mountain of parts there. Plus, everything that came off is in this jar. And here's everything that came off the SPX part sled. So we definitely got enough parts to get this thing together.
We got parts.
So we're just going to start bolting it, and we'll be done when we're done.
I like the idea.
If we're lucky, we'll get the jack shaft, drive shaft, chain case, track, all that stuff in. That's the goal. Let's see how far we get.
We're getting ambitious.
So I'm here doing some parts prep for Hot Donna's front suspension. And the boys aren't going to be here till tomorrow night, but I like to get any of the heavy cutting, welding, grinding type stuff done when nobody else is around. It's just easier. So let me show you what we got. So we'll start over here. These are the trailing arms from that SPX Ultra. And then over here, well, these are the XCR 800 arms. And you look at them from the side profile, they're pretty similar. And, you know, it's the same front suspension, but there are some differences. So if you look here, you'll note there's a lack of gusseting on this. And then we'll flip over the XCR. You can see there's a gusset there and a gusset there. So go ahead and rewind if you got to see that. So that's the main difference. And then the XCR has these extra brackets that I assume you could do a Heim joint type sway bar end link if you wanted to, instead of just the sliding blocks for maybe a race application or something. Other than that, they're pretty much the same, and the geometry appears to be the same. So I kind of want to use these because of the gussets and they're original and stuff. I was going to just go to these to make my life easier, but as you can see, I gouged this up getting the shock off. Really unfortunate, my bad. But there would be some cutting, welding, grinding to patch that up and make it sturdy. Over here, well, if you remember from the teardown, at least this front side hole is pretty wobbled out. The back doesn't look nearly as bad. But this side is fine. But I got to get these shocks off. And you can see there's no axis for a cutoff wheel in here. What I would normally do is cut off wheel as close as I can without hopefully making that mistake again, and then spread the ears just slightly and pop the shock out. What do you do when you can't get a cutoff wheel in there? Well, torch or plasma cutter, and I think I'm going to try the plasma cutter and see how that goes. Not real sure how well it's going to work, but let's give it a shot. Thought you guys might want to see my plasma cutter. It's an antique. I got this used about 25 years ago when plasma cutters weren't so cheap as they are today. And it was ancient when I got it. I have no idea when it was made, but it's been a good unit for me. And, well, let's get after it. So here's an in-process shot of the plasma cutter deal. So far, I don't think I've gouged the base bracket. Cut away as much of the bolt as I could, and kind of made a hole in the middle. I'm going to go after it a little bit with an air chisel, and hopefully these outside pieces kind of come off of there. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so the air chiseling did just what I wanted. There's the rest of that bolt head. Now I'm going to try to gouge straight in and burn that bolt back in a little bit to help make it easier to get out, because these ears aren't going to spread real well with all the gusseting on this. Let's see how that works out. All right, I knocked the back side of the bolt off. I don't think I've damaged the arm yet. Looks messy. Gonna attempt to spread the ears and see if I can pop this thing out now. All right, we got it out with only minor collateral damage. You can see I had a little gouge incident here. It'll be fine. I'll put a washer back there, and it'll be just peachy. It'll work. Remember, the way these work is that you're clamping down on the bushing hard enough that it shouldn't slide. That's how it works. That's how a bolted joint works. Otherwise, it would be called a pin joint, which would be just a pin that would rattle around in there. So we should be okay on this. All right, it's a miracle over here on side 2. I was able to use the big air hammer, the Thor, Astro Pneumatic Thor, put a nut to guide it, and look at that. I got the bolt sliding within the sleeve. So I've shown you plenty of that on other videos. Going to just repeat, and I will have this thing out shortly. All right, we got the bolt out of that sleeve. Ran her back and forth a few times with the air hammer, and eventually unthreaded it and pulled it out. So that's awesome. Now I need to rebuild some shocks. Oh yeah, rebuild shocks and a little welding to fix those oblonged out holes. So I guess I'll make some templates up for that so I can figure out where the washers get welded on. All right, let's make a template. So, a piece of cardstock. My wife gave me a bunch of crap left over from her scrapbooking. So I'm lining up this moderately straight edge that I cut with the bend in the sheet metal, and then I'm just clamping it on. All right. All right. That's going to be a nice template for what I got to do. The middle part that didn't really get cut, I'm going to ignore it. I'm lining it up with those round features. So now we'll flip it to the mirror side. And basically just flip this over, and it's going to help me figure out where to align the washer I need to weld on to fix that wobbled out hole. All right, so if we line up this template perfectly, which is easier to do with 2 hands than 1, and it's really hard to hold in position, but it turns out that the outer part of this hole appears to be in the right location using the template. Super hard to show you right now because it's just too fumbly with 1 hand, but I think you can kind of see that. And so that is where we'll line it up at. That'll take care of this side. Now we'll have to do the other side as well. All right, so I got the template lined up in there. I had to kind of go around that pop rivet a little, but I got it lined up as best as I can, and you can see the results are the same. So I just need to make 2 washers, put a bolt through them just snug, and pull it this way towards the inside of the snowmobile, and that'll get our alignment more than close enough. And any little bit that it may be off, well, we have to adjust the camber with the radius rods anyways, so it'll be just fine. All right, so we got our washers de-zinced, we got the trailing arm shined up, and I'm going to weld them on. All right, so there's the repair. The paint's still wet, and no, it's not a restoration, folks. This sled has almost 11,000 miles, and it's seen a lot of road salt. And we're just putting her back on the trail and making her, safe and good to ride. Someday could it be restored? Sure. But you wouldn't want to use this trailing arm, and you wouldn't want to used it before. If you want to restore something like this, go find a nicer trailing arm at least. So for now, I'm going to keep working on my rider.
Nice glow going.
All right, she's red now.
All right.
Oh. All right, get out there.
Here we go. Bam. Just like that.
All right, I'm gonna
Niceness.
go. It's raining, so I'm gonna go find a puddle to put this in.
There you go. Not like we're going to save that, right?
There you go.
I just want it to get cooled off before somebody gets burnt. This wasn't doing it.
Yeah. Get out the big dog. Sometimes you just gotta let the big dog. You gotta keep the wrench in there.
You got to get the wrench in there. You can't because of the steering stop.
Oh, yeah.
Bad juju there. Ooh, it doesn't
I know
even.
why I hate those kind.
And you can't get the socket in because of the damn steering stop. Well, this is going to be fun.
Who's done that?
I don't know. We may end up
Rotate
just
this down.
grinding the whole stupid thing off and
Give her,
Or just
you're on.
tap that.
I want to be all the way
Tap
on.
that
There we
steering
go.
stop a little bit so you can get a wrench in.
There we go.
Ah,
Just needed all the power.
get it.
I suppose the other one's still hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Is
There
it
you go.
pizza time?
There's one.
All right. So we did a little grinder action, and the what's left of the head of the bolt's pretty much paper thin, and let's see if it goes. Well, maybe not paper thin enough. All right, we need a little more. All right, we're going to do this now, grinder action. Okay, well, that one worked as advertised. Guess I got to grind a little more on that. You can see we did a lot more grinding there. And the bolt head's gone. And no,
Yeah,
let it up to
there
the
you
table.
go. Yeah, let it hit the table.
Dirty son of a... Nope.
Wow.
And of course, that's the one we really need. Because...
Can you
Isn't
try
that the one
spin it over and see if you can get it to loosen up, or is it just
Where's the bent one? Let's see.
loose on the bushing?
Put the wrench on it and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the one we really
Yeah.
need because this one's bent. Great.
Put the wrench on the nut and see what happens. It helps.
There it did.
Hell,
Did the nut-
I moved the whole steering stop there.
Did the nut crack loose or... No, it's probably the nut turning.
Probably.
That's all that was needed was one size 12.
I think it's
Turning the
I
nut.
think the bolt's turning because there isn't any gap opening up yet.
Well, then the punch will take it out now.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah, I think I actually saw the bolt turn that time. Yep.
Nope, it's the nut.
Oh, is it just the nut? Dang it.
It's the nut. All right. Well, hi puppies. Daisy's very helpful.
Yeah, I was getting a face full of kisses from Mila. All right, what's next on the agenda then?
Well, if we could tighten the stupid thing up, it would act like a jack and pull it out with the force of the threads.
Potentially.
So back to trying to find some combination of impact devices that will get in there.
Do you have
All right,
a ratchet wrench to get it? This is a...
All right, so here's what's going on. We got this nut to move, and we ran it back and anti-seized it, ran it in, anti-seized it, anti-seized. We never took it all the way off. We got this 3/8 drive socket, because that's the only thing that fits in there, and we've got it adapted up to a 1/2 inch, and we're putting it in tightening mode, because we want to use the threads to try to jack that out, basically. Did I say that right?
Or to strip it.
Or something. No.
Slipped on the nut.
Well, yeah, slipped on the nut. The nut's fucked. And everything is so seized that we're going to take the grinder, cut this off, bend this ear out of the way, and take it out that way. And we don't really care. We got new bushings and sleeves in there. So we'll get it apart. Did what I said, that thing. You can see we did it. I didn't gouge it up too much. Still usable. And should come out now. Any moment now, it should come out. Oh, it's so stiff. Thank you, Lonnie. There we go. It's so rusty that everything swelled up and locked itself in.
I think you can press that out pretty easy too. We have a press here, then just, I'm getting dirty parts out of the way.
All right, Tommy's going to go put that in the when we need it pile. But Tommy's right. The press was easy. It came right out. I don't know if you could see this, but look at how much that is just swelled up from the rust in there. I mean, the outer of the bushing's locked. Obviously, the inner's locked. It's just a ball of rust. Oh, well, on we go. So we're looking at the radius rods here, and the lowers, I found a difference. Well, there's two differences. There's a very, very slight difference in length. There's also the same difference on the uppers. I think as long as I keep them as a match set, it won't matter. Just the skis will be, that much wider. Shouldn't matter. But here's the main difference. Can you see the taper on this? This is the original XCR lower radius rod, and this is from that SPX. And I already checked, and the interesting thing is the same rod end screws into either of them. So I'm going to go with the SPX parts simply because one of the XCR parts is bent, and I don't feel like straightening it. So I'm going to start changing out all the bushings, getting rod ends threaded in, and start getting it ready to put together. So I just want to show you how slick this is with the air hammer for getting these bushings out. Ooh, this one's really stuck, but there we go. All right, last bushing. Let's do that one more time for you guys. Sure makes life easy. All right, so by some miracle, Polaris still stocked these bushings. 543 1486, and I don't remember the part number on this, but I got these from Polaris too. And, direct, perfect, well, the actual parts. So, I'm going to stuff these full, and, I don't know, then we'll bring you back at the next step. All right, little update for you guys. So, you can see I got radius rods and spindles and steering arms and stuff on the trailing arms. Got my sliders for the sway bar in there. Cleaned up the shock bodies, masked off the sticker and the first couple threads, and painted them. I'm going to try this appliance epoxy. I've used this appliance epoxy enamel before, and it's been really good. It's been really tough. In fact, I put it on the roll cage of my Jeep, which is rubbed against a lot of rocks and trees, and it never wore through. I was very impressed with it. Is it the answer for shocks? I don't know. We'll find out. If it's not, well, we'll just take them apart and sandblast them and get them powder coated. But little experiment, see if we can save some money. So speaking of shocks, there's the rest of the components over there. And, it's not really a big deal to rebuild shocks. You do need a few special tools, and you need a way to charge the gas. If you got that, you can do it. And if you don't, kind of bad news as I'm examining those shock parts. We get some pitting here. It's bad enough I can feel my fingernail even after I Scotch-Brighted it. Minor pitting here. I would probably let that slide, except remember I did have two sets of shocks because of that SPX parts sled. I believe these are actually off that SPX, but I could be mixed up at this point. I slid down the bump stops, and there's no pitting underneath those, which is, the most suspect place. So I'll blow these apart, and actually it's not that bad. I'll just use the best parts to make the shocks on the sled, and I'll put together the other set just to have around as spares, I guess.
Take two.
It's our patron pizza moment. Patrons, we thank you for your support. All right, so we looked up in the factory service manual, which you should purchase. We looked up how to adjust the camber on this thing. And it says at full extension of the shocks, which you can see we have the shocks in there. Clearly they're at full extension. You put a 5/8 bar through one spindle. And when you go to the other side, the gap from the center to the center should be 3/4. So you can see that's pretty far off. So we're going to loosen up the upper radius rod and thread it out until we get that set right. We'll bring you back when we're done. All right, so there we go. We made one side adjustment. Now we're going to drive this rod out because it's basically kind of a light press fit in there. Put it in this one. Repeat on this side. And once again, from the factory service manual, you make these adjustments with the front end in the air and the shocks at full extension. All right, so on the next side, we've got the opposite going on. So we either have to lengthen the lower or shorten the upper. One or the other.
Well, we have room to lengthen the lower.
Yep.
I'd say
it's tight, like it's right to the end of the rod.
Yeah, let's lengthen the lower. It's easier.
Okay.
All right, here they go. This is how they're adjusting it. Boop.
Oh, that's getting hard. Okay, so let's go 2 again.
Yep.
1, 2.
All right.
Go 3. Go another one.
Nah.
It's not in yet.
We'll check. It's quick and easy. All right.
I'll just put it in.
Get in there.
Can't see where it is. There it is.
Up a little.
Right there.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
No.
Now I think
let go of it.
I think we're too far now.
Nope, I don't think so. If you let go of the rod.
Basically, it needs to just be touching and
Barely. Yeah. So that I think that's going to be pretty damn
I'd
close.
try a half turn.
Tape measure. That's what I did.
That's how we have been adjusting this?
Then
we'll know.
The rod to look at the top of the hole.
I need my cheaters. It should be here. That's like a half turn up. It should actually just be touching. All right, watch your fingers. All right. All right. So that's it. I mean, that's it. That's as close as you can get the adjustment to correct according to the factory manual. So now the next thing they want you to do with the shock at full droop, and maybe I did this out of order, but not to exceed maximum width of 39 1/4. It's
39 1/4.
It's 39.
You want it on center?
It's 39 5/16. Oh, center to center. Yeah. It's just. You're right. It's just under. It's 39 1/8. Not to exceed. So there we go. We are meeting factory specs. We're going with it. Me and Lonnie are in here playing with CRC steering. So we've got these two pivots put together, and down here in the square bar, there's these pieces that we have Scotch-Brite up, and we've greased everything on there. So that's kind of like a rack. That's in quotes. So now we're going to bolt the rack onto here. We got to tighten this up, but we're getting there. These pieces that you see on here, those are actually from the SPX. I had new bushings, but everything was so tight on that SPX part sled. We just redid them. Yeah, there is some up-down play, but there's no wobble. No. So they're going to be fine. So it's going to be like new steering when we're done. So 2 bolts here, tighten on that, tighten on those 2, and then tie rod ends.
Here's the shitty part, Nutter.
What's that? Getting the bolt on the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a picnic. We can always take these back off and lift the whole thing up to do it.
Spin it so I can
well, doesn't that bolt drop in from the top?
No, it's supposed to go from the bottom.
It is. Aha.
God damn it. There we go. All right.
Might as well get the other one while you got it, the angle of the dangle.
The angle of the dangle to the curve of the nerve.
All right, we know you guys love to leave a comment of, I saw it, and you leave the minute and the second. I don't know how many actually notice this, because I don't know if you can see it from the camera angle, but this square bar is not symmetric, and we got it in backwards. We got to take it out and flip it this way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So steering is way off center.
Oh, yeah.
Well, fortunately, it's just these 2.
Those 2, and then we'll pull off one tie
rod,
rod
yep.
just so we can get it out.
Yep.
Yep.
No big deal.
There you go.
Though, it's really
Oh, it's super tight.
Oh, it's really nice.
It's going to be good steering. All right, after a small struggle, we now have the bar in correctly. So the long end goes over here, and that makes your tie rod ends go in the place where they're supposed to, and everything's super tight on this. Absolutely amazing. So all we got to do to finish up the front end is do the outer tie rods, which I bought new ones because the old ones were wasted. And we'll just take care of that quick. You know how to put a tie rod end on, right? All right, so we got the front suspension and steering in, and everything seems really tight. So there we go. Everything moves real nice. All the tie rod ends under the hood here are good. To recap, these pieces are off that SPX. They were still tight. Lonnie and Dennis are laughing every time I say the word tight. New tie rod ends out here. All new bushings. All new radius rod ends. All good. And I do have... And I do have new bushings for down here. The alignment's not done. We still got to set the toe, which I'm not going to finalize until I have the weight of the motor on it. But, you know, real good. All right, so there you go. That's our episode for tonight. It's probably pretty short. I don't know. Seems short to me. I've lost all ambition because it's super humid already. We had a bunch of rain today, and I don't have the air conditioner going in the shop yet. Well, it's not hot. It's just humid.
It's just
So we've lost all ambition after the front
nice
end.
little thunder.
it's a good
farm,
stopping point.
We needed
Get the
that.
front end and link it
Yeah,
all
I think it. Yeah, I
hooked
think
up.
we got some shit done. We made some progress.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And the front end is no small task on one of these CRCs.
I will ask, how many times did that bolt go in and out?
Oh, like 8.
Okay,
Like
so-
8 times.
Too many times.
So we got that done. The next step is the jack shaft, drive shaft chain case. And I'm putting reverse on this thing. And so I'm going to need a little time to clean all that up and recondition that before we put it on. So this is a good stopping place. So with that said, I want to say huge thanks to everybody that's given us a super thanks.
Yeah.
You can see their names up there. And the videos don't necessarily come out in the order you think they do. And it might be filmed at a different time and edited at a different time. So these super thanks names, these are the people that have given us a super thanks in about the last week or week and a half since I've started editing this video. Also, giant thanks to the patrons. Really appreciate all of you. You're what's keeping us going over the summer. We need the motivation, to be honest with you. How many years have we been pushing hard on sleds now?
I don't know we're gonna be year 4?
Well, that's on YouTube. But we've been doing about this pace for damn near 10 years now.
Yeah, for a long time.
We should have been filming it 10 years ago, but
Right.
oh well. So huge thanks to the patrons for the motivation to keep us going through the summer. We're going to keep working on it.
We got projects.
Yep, we got projects.
Yup.
Lonnie bought another sled. That's going to be the next one we're going to slide in here.
Yup.
I'm not doing it.
You'll see what it is when we see it. All right, Dennis, you're going to help us with this sled. All right, we'll tell you what it is then. Lonnie bought a 1982 Polaris Cutlass SS.
Yes.
So that's the next one. So for you family sled fans, we're going to go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, right.
We got the Ultimate Polaris Muscle Triple here, and we're going to go to a single carb 440.
I always wanted a Cutlass.
But she's a sexy bitch.
It is the blue and gold.
Yep.
That's why Lonnie bought it.
It
We're
is.
still talking about patrons, but anyways, huge thanks to the patrons. We really appreciate your support. And if you don't know, the patron is like a YouTube membership, but it's off-site. It's on this other platform called Patreon. It's the same kind of deal. You join for $5 or $10 a month. You get to see all the videos early and ad-free. You get some behind-the-scenes posts. Maybe they're picture posts. Maybe I write a little something on what's going on. Sometimes we get some extra videos in there. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd encourage you to check it out.
Everyone else, remember to hit subscribe.
And notify.
Yep, and hit that notify. YouTube has been known to unsubscribe people just out of the blue.
Absolutely.
So make sure you hit that notify so you make sure you're getting the notifications of when the new videos come out. Subscriptions continue to help us. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
They
do.
Yeah, the subscriptions keep us
in the algorithm where we're making big time.
Where we're getting more viewers.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the two things that help us are super thanks, because the YouTube algorithm, no matter what anybody says, is about one thing. It's about money, and super thanks is money, and the YouTube gets their cut of it. So if they think we're getting a bunch of super thanks, they promote us more. So super thanks, and then second is subscribing.
Subscribe.
Anyways, we'll see you at the swap meets.
See you at the beach.
No,